Hey, what's going on, guys? Alex Ryan here with this week's fishing report. A lot of good stuff happening out there right now this time of the year, and a lot of new species coming into the bay. We'll start off with your rockfish. There's been pretty decent fishing throughout the area. A lot of guys fishing shallow, fishing structure or along the shorelines, and some guys are still live lining and jigging. Fish are kind of spread out all throughout.
Yeah.
Anywhere from the lower section of the bay to the middle, even up to the upper part of the bay. There's been a good bite all around. The chop tank is one of those areas where people have been fishing in the southern area, Poplar Island, Eastern Bay, your typical areas. There's really no secret hot area right now. As long as you can find those fish, they're gonna bite, right? That's the biggest thing with that. Some of the lures that we've been using out here this time of the year for your jigging have been these 5-inch paddle tails on a, either half ounce all the way up to 1 ounce jig, depending on how deep you're finding those fish in open water, or you can even use it on a smaller jig head around the shorelines. People are still catching them in the Patapsco as well. And then you can live line obviously around the pilings of the Bay Bridge or any kind of structure in the Patapsco. Same thing, the old Key Bridge pilings or any of the docks by the port.
Yeah,
white perch stuff's been good too.
Definitely. White perch has been pretty good. It's definitely heated up here in the last 2 weeks. We have been seeing more numbers and some pretty big perch. I know Charlie was out there killing perch with Anna off of just south of the bridge. And then, so in the Severn River, there's been some white perch along with the Magathie River and the Patapsco. I've heard mostly over this side, but I'm sure there are also white perch in the Chester and the Narrows, and pretty much in this entire area. If you're fishing around structure, they are starting to get up shallow in the rivers, and you can either cast or jig on the bottom, any sort of plastic like that. The Gulp 2.5 inch has been working really well for me. I've been fishing it on the bottom with a top and bottom rig with like a number 4 hook. So that works really well. I've also been catching on that same rig some croaker. Nothing huge, but there are some croaker starting to show up. That means our waters are warming up and the fishing's getting good for the summer.
Yeah, I'm sure if you switch over to a sabiki or any kind of small bottom rig with a piece of bloodworm fish bite or even regular bloodworms or lugworms, you're going to be able to catch spot.
Yeah.
And I know the spot having on that perfect live lining size the past few weeks, at least here in the middle base section, and some bigger ones have started to show up in the southern area of the bay down towards Point Lookout. Other species that we're fishing for right now this time of the year, they're getting pretty good around now. It's like snakehead, and that's going to be one of those. Those fish are post spawn now. You're going to find some fry balls, and you're going to see those fish. Blackwater, Upper Bay, and some of these creeks and rivers around the area are going to be holding them. Remember, don't be afraid to throw multiple different things in one fry ball if you see them, and one of them being is a buzz bait. They really gets them pissed off because of the sound. I know it's a little old school. Some guys like to throw a whopper plopper or some of the frogs, but these buzzbait make a different noise and they really get them going. Get out there. Also, you can put some minnows out while you're fishing lures throughout the shorelines. But I will say definitely the Upper Bay is the place that's holding some of the bigger fish nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. I know a pretty big one was pulled out of the Magathie last week, way up. So definitely get out there and give it a shot. And if they're not hitting the aggressive baits, like the chatterbaits, you can always throw subsurface stuff, like the buzz baits, you can always throw subsurface stuff like this tungsten Evo we have from Z-Man. This is a chatterbait, it's a subsurface. Still gonna create a lot of ruckus, but a little bit less than the buzzbait because it's going to be subsurface.
And as we're speaking of that, of course, you can catch bass and some panfish in the same area.
Yep.
So definitely some of these same lures will work for bass.
Definitely.
You're going to be catching them mixed in with them.
Yep.
And then those fish will be actually either, spawning or post-spawn by now as well. So you're going to get some decent-sized mixed fish in there. And if you're fishing the reservoirs like Rocky Gorge, Triadelphia, or even Loch Ravens, most of these fish, like I said, it's a mix right now of spawning and post-spawn fish. So definitely take your time to work shallow and a little bit deeper waters right now this time of the year. And let's go back to the bay and focus, I guess, a little more south. And a lot of guys have been asking about speckled trout. And I know some guys have been catching them, some guys haven't found them yet. I will say general areas, just southern Maryland is going to be one of the areas where you
pretty
can
much
get
Poplar
numbers.
Island and south.
Yeah, I mean, and even personally will say fishing anywhere on the north side of the Tangier and south, or on the western side, fishing anywhere from the Patuxent down to the Potomac, and inside the Potomac might give you a couple better chances in some of those creeks that feed into the lower Potomac. A couple lures that we like to use are these small NLBN shrimp tails. They work great either in a popping cork or just jigged on the bottom. They're little classic lures. And mixed in with that, this time of year, you might find some puppy drum.
Yep, puppy drum. And then out towards the main bay, a little bit further south, people are finding some bluefish too already.
Yeah.
With that water warming up.
The bluefish got here way earlier this year. Who knows why? But they're kind of like all over the place. I wouldn't say they're here on this general area here by around the Bay Bridge. But I have heard of some guys catching them just south of Poplar. And that's going to be one of those areas where you can probably catch them a little more consistent.
Yeah, definitely. And if you go down south there and you end up seeing them, you can always throw one of my favorite lures, the epoxy jig, for them. That's going to represent those little bait fish that they're eating, and it's going to work well for you.
Now let's jump, gears into something a little bit different, like the offshore and inshore bite down in Ocean City. What have you been hearing?
Yeah, I mean, the sea bass bite is on fire right now. We have been hearing reports of people getting some bigger fish on artificials like the squid treks here from Nomad. You can use gulp for them. There's also some flounder out there. People have been bottom bouncing the wrecks. Gulp is great for that on either a bucktail rig or top bottom rig. And then a couple reports of tuna, a lot more bluefin than yellowfin quite yet. I know the guys are running to God's country to get those yellowfin right now, like 120 plus, but hopefully with this warmer weather, that water's going to push in and we'll have them before we know it. But I know there was also some big eye caught, so that's definitely, it's worth going out. Yep. It's definitely worth going out at this point. But I think that about sums it up for the fishing report.
Yeah, and then just crabbing.
You want to know what crabs real quick?
Crabbing's been pretty decent for around the area. I heard you're catching a lot of crabs, but the mix it's a pretty good mix of males and females, and a good, I guess, ratio of throwbacks, but you're still catching crabs.
You're catching crabs, and that water temp is warming up. People are starting to use trot lines. I've seen a lot in the Severn and the Magathy, along with the mouth tip of Tapsco, people have been catching. So they're definitely moving around, and you're getting crabs in pretty much every river around here now.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And that's it for your fishing report, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys back next week.